Welcome back. That was the inside back. Now it's time for the outside arm. Okay, so to start out with the outside arm, you want to close out the empty space with some kind of fabric. Now this can be fabric you pulled off of the chair, or in this case, this was the backing that was already in there, and I was able to salvage it, so I just went ahead and used it. So the next step would be to install your cording, if it does have cording. I like to put it right on the edge of the wood. That way it stays firm when you put your tack strip on. Okay, and to transition this under the chair, you'll cut the cording apart, cut the welt cording out of the fabric, and fold it under. Okay, now it's time for tack strip. And this will hold it firm and help it from just tearing off in everyday use. The reason I'm leaving it blank right there is because I'm going to blind tack the fabric in, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Okay, so to blind tack this fabric in place, set it on there temporarily with some push pins. And right there I am lining up the fabric so it'll wrap around the arm and transition really nicely. So this is a really helpful trick now that you've got it laid out where the stripes are nice and straight up and down. You can use this chalk to mark your cording, and then we will go ahead and cut to that line on the inside curve to allow the fabric to lay down just right. Okay, so here we are cutting the fabric to the line, and in a second you'll see that I end up cutting the fabric all the way to the line, so it's a pretty close cut. So like I said before, you just want to take your time with it, and if it takes you 10 hours to make that cut, take 10 hours because it'll be really worth it in the end. So right here is where I make that final cut just to allow it to lay down real nice. Okay, so now it's time to blind tack it. Put your tack strip under there and push the fabric and the tack strip up against your cording and work your way down just like that. And every once in a while you can check your chalk line, make sure you're still in line. Okay, so once you've got that blind tacked and everything is kind of set in place, you can add the polyester batting to it. And in this case I was able to salvage the batting too because it was in good condition. So now that you've got that in place, fold your fabric down and you're almost there. Go ahead and put the push pins in the front because we'll end up hand sewing that later. I'll show that towards the end of the videos. And now you can pull the back. Just keep in mind that you want to keep your stripes going straight. Don't pull too much because you'll throw things out of whack. So now that we have the top blind tacked and the back secured, we can go ahead and secure the bottom. And this is just a simple cut all the way to the bottom of the chair. Fold that under, tack it. You don't necessarily have to do these last few steps in this order, but this is just the order that I did it in and the order that I'm showing it. And just as you cut the cording on the other end, you can do the same on the top. Just leave enough to staple. And now that you've got the cording tacked back, you can pull the fabric back and tack that too. Okay, last but not least, fold this last little bit under, wrap it around, and staple it. So that was the outside arm. Now it's time for the outside back.